Please excuse the hood, it's freaking cold in this house and it's raining and horrible outside. It's January, forgive me. Hi everyone, my name is Jess and today I'm going to be giving you my review for Supernova by Marissa Meyer. If you don't know, Supernova is the third and final book in the Renegades trilogy by Marissa Meyer. The Renegades trilogy is a young adult sci-fi series that's set in a world where prodigies, people with superpowers, have sort of had their time being pushed around by people without powers, you know, being called freaks, etc. And now they have sort of risen up, and a group of prodigies called the Renegades like to sort of bring order to the world and act as like the police, the government, and all sorts of things like that. It follows a character called Nova, who is a young girl born into the Anarchists, which is a group of prodigies that want to take down the Renegades and rule the world sort of themselves. It follows Nova as she enters into the Renegades sort of training program for young people and becomes a part of their team, tries to take them down from within. And there she meets Adrian, who is the son of the two like sort of biggest renegades there are, and he also has his own secret identity that it's so hard to explain. It's such a huge world. Okay, so for the first part of this review, I'm just gonna kind of say my basic rating and like non-spoilery things, and then I'll let you know when the spoilers are about to start. So I finished Supernova. Look at this monster of a book. It's absolutely huge. I read it so quickly. I absolutely love this series. I have loved it since the first book, and that is why I carried on reading them. I gave Supernova, apparently I gave it 5 stars. I might change that now to like a 4.5 because there were points that I didn't love. But overall, I want to just say, non-spoilers, I really love this series. I think the world building is amazing. I think the action is so well done. The sort of like, Marissa Meyer didn't spend loads of time creating settings like some authors do, but she did it quickly and she did it well to set up action and plot. And I think this being a really plot-based series has done wonders for the sort of ease of reading it, if that makes sense. The one thing I could say about this series and this book especially is I was never bored. Considering how long they are, considering how intimidating they are, I was never ever bored of reading them. I found them so fun, so different. Like, I've never read anything like this. It literally feels like reading a comic book but in prose fiction, and I really loved it. Like, I recommend them to people all the time. And yeah, I think loads of people would really enjoy this series if you just want something exciting. I struggle with high fantasy and stuff like that. I really am better with sci-fi and sort of dystopian stories, so that was really good for me. And I'm just reading my notes on my laptop next to me, and I said, overall the series as a whole was superbly plotted. There was constant, like, always stuff going on. Like I said, I was never ever bored, and I think that was really impressive, especially with a series this big. I never bored. All the characters were likable in different ways. Both the main characters were very complex and interesting people with very sort of compelling stories to each of them. I will say one thing I didn't love was the romance in this series. I just couldn't really care less about it. So the only thing that the romance was good for was like making the tension and like the reveals more interesting, but other than that I didn't really care for it. The politics and moral questions in this series are really interesting. I love the fight between good and evil and how it's not so much that simple, and it explains that really well. It starts off with this great sense of good versus bad, villains versus heroes, and at the end it kind of ties back into that simplicity of good and bad, but it also, you've come such a long way that it's really, really interesting to see who changes and what they do to change. And yeah, I'm not making any sense, trying to be vague. But yeah, the main thing that sticks out is how easy they were to read, how enjoyable they were to read, and I definitely would recommend to anyone. And now I'm going to get on to my spoilery thoughts on Supernova, specifically the third book. So if you haven't read Supernova or you want to read the other books in the series, please do not watch this because you will get spoiled. On to my spoilery thoughts. Let's see what I wrote. So going straight in at the end here, because I didn't start writing notes until the very end. The final battle of this book was so intense. It was like insanely plotted. Like, okay, I just loved it. I absolutely loved it. I felt like we definitely had this huge end that really gave sort of like a I have no words today. I put the final battle was super reminiscent of the Battle for Hogwarts, and I stand by that fact. Like, it really felt like this, like, you know, in the Battle for Hogwarts where they put that shield around Hogwarts and like all the baddies trying to get in. It was literally that, but the other way around, wasn't it? Like, it was literally that, and I loved that. I loved that Ace was, you know, all the bad guys were inside and they were like, this is ours, and the good guys were the ones fighting to get in to defeat them. It was so cool, and the fact that he like rebuilt the cathedral, oh my god, it was like so sick and just so huge. Like, you could just tell when reading it how huge of a thing this was. Like, it was just insane. In all these books in the series, the fight scenes and battle scenes have always been superb. They are so well plotted, so well described. She has a great sense of rhythm and pacing, and another like great sense of sort of suspense to reveal big moments. I think Marissa Meyer did a fantastic job in this series of knowing what to conceal to each character and also to the reader. There's this theory in media studies, I'm gonna like sound really dumb here, but there's this theory in media studies called the hierarchy of knowledge, and it's about what you want to reveal to the reader but also what you reveal to characters and how they interact. And I think Marissa Meyer did a fantastic job of balancing all of that. She didn't make it confusing. She made all the specific reveals that were happening to each of the characters, like, so there was things that we knew, things that Nova would know, things that Adrian knew, and they all intersected, and it was crazy. There were so many elements that were up in the air, and she dealt with all of them fantastically. I really believe that. I want to talk about the romance because that was my least favourite part of the whole series, especially in this book. I think especially at the end, when Nova and Adrian had their like forgiveness thing, and they were like, it's okay, like, I forgive you for all of the wrong you've done. Like, I wouldn't. I think it was kind of out of character for them to act like that and be absolutely fine straight away, and for Nova to forgive the renegades so quickly and sort of move on from everything that they've done to her. Obviously there's the reveal that they didn't actually do anything to her, but it kind of felt like they sometimes took things in their stride a little too easily, especially with Nova going to prison in the first like 200 pages. That was wild. I really didn't expect that to happen so soon, and when I got to that point I was like, what else could go from here? Like, what could happen from here? But I did kind of like that our expectations got subverted in that kind of way. Another thing about this book in particular was that I think we could have done with more of that good versus evil moral quandary kind of thing in this book. I think the first two books had a lot more of it, and I really found it interesting and I loved thinking about it. There was a lot of potential for it, but it kind of fell short on that and focused more on the romance, and I just couldn't be bothered. But yeah, I definitely think we could have had more political and moral questioning that made us think a bit more. Overall though, I absolutely loved this finale. I think it was so big and bold, and like I wrote the phrase unafraid to punch hard, especially in terms of character deaths and character sort of reveals, especially like in the second to last battle at the Agent N event. I think that battle was insane, and the deaths were crazy, like definitely unexpected. I'm really sad about Callum's death. I hate that and I wish he was not dead. Also, I'm so happy and proud of Max. Max has been, I think, my favourite character throughout this whole series. I've loved him from the very beginning, and I'm so glad that he has the chance now, I think, unless I'm remembering it wrong, that he has the chance now to be like normal. I'm so happy for him, and I want him to be happy always. He deserves it so much. And I wrote here, this is something I forgot actually, I've just read it on my notes and I kind of forgot that it happened, but I wish the neutralizations that happened with Agent N, I wish those had stuck, because I think at the end they all got like reversed. And I don't know, I feel like it could have been better if some of those had stuck and we'd seen real lasting damage and change to the world in that way. The only lasting change we had was sort of in the death, some of the character deaths, and that was it, because obviously the anarchists got defeated again. But yeah, I think the neutralizations, that was a really, really big chance to make a change in the world and see how some of the power dynamics changed because of it. But unfortunately that didn't happen. Let's talk about the epilogue. When I was reading reviews and reading vlogs for this book, a lot of people were like, oh my god, the epilogue was insane, it made up for everything wrong with the rest of the book. And I was like, how can an epilogue that's like 5 pages long do that? It didn't make up for everything. I'm not sure why everybody said that. It's not going to make up for the problems with the book, but what it did do was confuse the hell out of me and make me rethink everything and make me need more. So I really hope there's like a spin-off series or something, because I love this world, I'm not ready to get rid of it. And also that freaking reveal, like, is Evie, is Magpie Evie? Is that what we're supposed to think? I'm so confused about that, but like, is that what we're supposed to think? Because that, I don't know, does it make sense? I genuinely don't know what we're supposed to think about that, and like, I need more in this world. I absolutely have adored the world building in this series, and I just can't. I can't just leave it like that. Else to say, I think that's it for my review for Supernova. I hope it hasn't been just too gushy, because I've absolutely adored this series, as everyone knows, as I've said 1,000 times already in this video. But I have loved this series so much, and I'm sad that it's over, but I'm so grateful that it's been so easy for me to read and so fun, and I really, really recommend to anyone who wants to read them, definitely do. Although now you will know everything that kind of happens already. But okay, I think that's it from me today. Thank you so much for watching my review for Supernova by Marissa Meyer. If you enjoyed Supernova, or if you didn't, like a lot of people apparently haven't, let me know in a comment, let's talk about it, or link me to your own reviews of the series. I would love to see them. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more bookish content from me in the future. And that's all from me. Have a great day. Bye.